channel. So today I'm going to do my project pan for the month of November. I'm not going to be ending my project pan next month, so I'm just going to be rolling it on to the new year. So there's not going to be any finale next month, so I don't have to worry about scrambling and finishing items in the next 4 weeks, which is great because I just don't want to put that pressure on myself. And also, this is my project pan and I am not going to end it until I want to end it. So anyway, I have been working on some items, as you know. I actually am going to be rolling in 3 new items into the project today because I have realized that I finished one. I have another one that is pretty much done as of today, and there is an item that I feel like I can sneak in and try to finish. I just said I didn't want to try to finish something before the end of the year, but this one I feel like I can try to sneak in and finish before the end of the year. So I'm going to try to be doing that. Anyway, let's get into it. The sun is about to break through the sky, so I might have to rearrange my lighting as always, but I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain because it's been cloudy. It's been cloudy the last few days, so I'm happy that it's trying to show its face. Okay, so let's start with the one that I've used the least. Are we surprised? It is my NYX Butter Gloss. This is Creme Brulee. It's so much windowing now. I mean, I'm very, very proud of this item. As you can see, I do like that there's not much left in here, but I just also don't find myself reaching for it because I don't care about it anymore. So I feel like all of the product is down at the bottom now, and I am scraping like the sides, but that product down at the bottom is not moving, and I do not want to get a spatula. Like, the wand literally doesn't go all the way to the bottom. So I think I might have to call this done maybe next update, and we'll just have an official empty on it, because I'm just thinking, like, if I weren't doing this project pan, at what point would I consider this an item that I need to throw away from my collection if I just were using it, you know, without a channel, without a project pan project? If I actually finish this item, would I be scraping the bottom of it? Do I love it that much? No, I wouldn't be. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing. I'll just use it a little bit more this next month, and I do think that I will call it done by the end. Okay, next up is one of my face palettes. I do have 2 face palettes in the project. I didn't want to do it's at my own sort of pan that face palette side video, so I've always had it with my project pan. I'm working on the Peachy at the moment. I only rolled this in I think a couple months ago, or maybe last month. It hasn't been long, and I'll put on the screen what it looked like, obviously, but this one I've only gone into 3 times. I'm not really counting which ones I'm going into, but it's primarily these 2. I think I also went into that. But those 3 times is not just like 1, 2, 3. It's 3 times I've grabbed it, and I might have used all 4 shades during that one use, if that makes sense. So anyway, that's what it's looking like. I think this has expanded a little bit. I already had a pan in these 2, but yeah, this one I think it has expanded since last month. And this one, no real change, but I did go into a tiny bit. So that's where we are with this one. Just 3 times that I've used this. It's not a priority palette for me to use, so I don't feel that bad about it, but at the same time, it's really fun to watch these pans expand. So that is exciting, and this one obviously is staying in. Okay, next up is my Belgian Waffle. I also didn't use this too much this month. I am using quite a lot of bronzers elsewhere, and I really just go into this for the bronzers, not so much the highlighter at the moment. So this one I've used 5 times, and again, I'll put up what it looked like last time, but you know, I've been working on primarily these 2 shades. I don't have a goal to use anything else, but if I do, I do. But yeah, I've gone into it 5 times. This is where we are. I know I said in my last video that I was going to repress them, and I didn't. So I really should, because at this point it's getting pretty hard and difficult. All right, I've just drawn the curtain because it is going to be a little bit difficult for me to film this. Of course, it wants to pop out right when I'm about to film. It hasn't been here all morning, but now it wants to show its face. Anyway, so yeah, I think I'm gonna have to repress this just to make it a little bit easier for myself. It's not that I'm not really enjoying it, but it's harder to get the product. I do use this big brush, and it's mostly not going on there. So I think I will have to do that. I just need to stop being lazy, and I need to do it. So Anyway, that one I've used 5 times. Okay, this next one I actually finished. I finished my Charlotte Tilbury foundation. I finished this really fast earlier this month. I used it 5 times and then called it done because nothing else was being pumped out. And there's really not that much product in for me to actually have to open it up. I'm not going to be doing that. So this one, I'm very pleased that it's out of my collection. It wasn't one of my favorite foundations, I have to say, and it definitely was the more expensive one in my collection. So it's nice that I've been able to use it all. And to be fair, the last few months when I've had this in the project, I have enjoyed it a little bit better, but I think it's also because it worked for me during the summer months. It's just a little bit too warm, like peachy warm tone for me in the winter time. So if I carried on using this throughout the next few months, I don't think I would have enjoyed it anyway. So it's the perfect time for me to finish it. It is 2, like I had the shade 2 neutral, and I'm mostly a neutral person, although I'm not entirely sure. I don't even know what my undertone is. I definitely don't have a yellow undertone. I definitely feel like neutral is what I lean towards. I don't have a warm undertone, but I don't know if I have olive skin. I don't think I do. I think it's, but I also don't have like peachy skin. So I think that's why I feel like I fall in between in the neutral. And maybe I needed a lighter shade, but I think a lighter shade would have been too light. So I just think the shade match for me didn't necessarily really work. So this one is done and officially an empty, which is very, very exciting. Next up is a bronzer. I've been working on the Kiko Milano bronzer in the shade Warm Melange, and it's a baked product, as you know. So there's nothing to show. This one I've used 7 times. So actually I've definitely slowed down with this one, but I have been, like I said, using a different bronzer this month. Still kind of a little bit of a dome down at the bottom here. So it's getting pretty flat, but still so much product. And it's gonna take me a good year, I think, to hit pan. That's what I'm thinking. So it's in the project. I'm still using it. I'm enjoying it. But in terms of like an update, it always is going to be like a boring one until I get to that point where I can actually finish it. But I know I'm not going to like get any use out of this unless I actually have it in a project. And I do like it and it smells nice. I don't have too many bronzers, although I have been buying bronzers more recently. But I think this works all year round too. So I'm at least going to keep it in over the winter time. But yeah, this one only used 7 times. Then we have my Colourpop blush. I'm desperately trying to hit pan in this. I have used this 8 times. Again, not really big numbers this month, I have to say. I've been using some other products lately, but this one, you're just not going to be able to see the dome. There is a little bit of a dome. I have it on today, and I really have been enjoying it, but it is just, I don't know, it's just that type of formula. There's not a lot of kick up at all, if any, and it's just taking forever, and it's pretty pigmented. So I can't go into it multiple times. Otherwise, I would have bright orange cheeks, which I do put in quite a lot. And I use like a somewhat decent sized brush. It's like fits pretty perfectly. So I'm really hoping that I think I will definitely get a pan in this before obviously the Kiko bronzer, but I do see the light at the end of the tunnel with this. I really do. I know it's like impossible to see, but I see that I can make it happen. I can make it happen. It might take another 6 months or so, but I'm determined for it to happen. So this one is staying in as well. Okay, next up is we have another empty. So I have finished this one. This is from W7. It's the It's Glow Prime Radiant Primer. I used it the last time today, and there's really nothing else that I can squeeze out. This one I used 12 times this month to finish. So I had a little bit, actually quite a bit more use out of this one versus the Charlotte Tilbury, whereas I thought when I first rolled them both into the project, they were going to take the same amount of time, but this one I just ended up using, I think, a little bit less every time, so I had more to use over time. But it is done. It's like the same type of tube. I can't get any more out, and this is a very inexpensive product. I just don't feel like cutting it in and dipping it in my, like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. So anyway, this one is done. I have used and abused it, and I always want to have a primer in one of my project pans because I have way too many primers. It is one of my weaknesses. A lot of people don't even use primers, and yeah, you don't have to, but I like using them. For whatever reason, I'm addicted to primers, okay? So anyway, this one is out. So I have another empty, which I'm really excited about. Okay, next up we have my Colourpop Supershock highlighter in the shade Coastin. This was part of their the Coral collection. I can't remember what it was, but this was a few years ago now. This one I've used 13 times this month. I've used it quite a bit. I actually have on today. This is where we are. So as you can see, I only have a little bit left, but I have been trying to get the rest of this as well on my brush. I do use a brush for this because I do find it kind of fun, and I just use a little small one like this. And I feel like it just disperses the product really nicely. I love the Colourpop Supershocks. I know the packaging is a little extreme, but they are pretty thin. They're just huge. And I just think this formula is so beautiful. It's my favorite like Supershock formula. I like it more than their eyeshadows, and I like it more than their cream blushes as well. I just think it also doesn't dry out either. It hasn't gone bad. I've had this for so long. I had another one that I finished and I've had it for so long and it never went bad. I do have a third one, but the third one is green. Basically, it was part of the Hocus Pocus 2 collection. And so I don't know if I'm going to get the same amount of progress as I have with this one on the other one, but I really love this. I think it's so much fun. But yeah, I used it 13 times this month, so I actually really enjoyed it. I really want to get this done. I do think it's going to roll on to next year though, just with how much product I have left, which is fine. If I finish it in just like 2-3 months, that's absolutely fine by me. I'm not going to rush it because I really do like this and don't have anything that could replace it. So yeah, anyway, this one obviously staying in. Okay, and then the last item I have to talk about is my Charlotte Tilbury cream bronzer. I did just roll this in last month, and this one I've used 15 times this month. So you can see I've been obviously got the Belgian Waffle bronzers, I've got my Kiko Milano bronzer, I've got this bronzer, and I do pull a bronzer from my Shop My Stash. So I'm trying to use them all. Sometimes I use 2 bronzers, obviously, for like if I use cream and powder. Sometimes I don't. So anyway, but yeah, really enjoyed this one. I already had a pan in it, but I hope you can see I've been kind of focusing on this side of the pan just to expand it over to that side. So that's where I've been focusing on. So it has definitely changed a little bit since when I first rolled it in, which I just had like a more of a perfect leaning pan, and now it's going into a weird sort of oval egg shape. So anyway, 15 times, really enjoying this. At first, I would think I was using the wrong brush. I was using this brush, and I think I need to throw it away because this is like a really old elf brush, and I think the bristles in the middle here are, I don't know, something's happened with this brush because it was going on very patchy, and I was thinking, oh, I don't like this product. But then I went back to my trusty little sort of like flat one here. I don't know what this is. And this is like a kabuki, like a fake kabuki. Is it kabuki? I think I'm probably saying the completely wrong thing, but you know what I mean, like it's that shape, and it works a lot better with this product, and it was no longer patchy. So I was using the wrong brush for a good like 5 uses, and I was like, oh, I might not like this product anymore. It's very cool tone. Comparing it to, because I just stopped using the ABH cream bronzer, which is more warm tone, and the reason why I rolled out of my project pan was because it was so warm tone, and I knew I needed to go into my cooler tones for the winter. This one was a little shocking at first to the system because it was very cool tone, but now I'm making it work and I'm remembering how to use it. It's definitely a neutral shade, but it leans more towards cool tone, and I think for many people it could be a contour shade. This is the shade Fair 1. So I think I have the lightest one. Maybe there's one that's just a little bit lighter, but it's not like that light. Like it does have pigment to it, but it's very cool leaning. It's like a cool neutral. But anyway, really enjoy it. And I'm really excited like that it's changed so much in a month. So yeah, anyway, as long as I can get use out of my more expensive items, then that's exciting. But also, as you can see, I have like a bunch of other more inexpensive items, so I just group them all together. I don't really care. Okay, so those are all of the items that I've been working on, but as I said, I am going to be rolling in 3 new items today. So like I said, I always want to have a primer and a project pan. I'm actually going to be rolling in 2, but they're very different. One of them is more of like a face spray. So this is the from Essence, the Happy Bliss face spray. Feel energized and hydrated with citrus fruit extract. It's just a good like refresher. And I really don't have too much left. And I thought, you know what? Let's just try to finish this. It's not an item that I love. I don't think I'm going to repurchase. I get through it pretty fast. I do roll it into my Shop My Stashes every once in a while, and then I go through it, and then I obviously just throw it back in my drawer. But I think it's an item that I could potentially finish in the next month or 2, and then have another empty, which I'm excited, and then sort of minimize my inventory, my makeup. I can't speak today. What's happened to me? I would like to minimize my makeup collection. There. Okay. So this could get me there. Okay. We got there in the end. All right. I'm also going to be rolling in another primer. This is more expensive. This is the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. I did just pull this from my Shop My Stash. I've been really enjoying it. And I noticed I really didn't have too much left. So I feel like let's roll it into a project. I have it in my Shop My Stash, but I'm already using it. So why not just roll it in now? And I do have the Primark dupe of this. So at the point that I miss it, I do have something else that potentially could fill the void, but this is just so precious, I might buy it again. This is definitely something that I would recommend if you haven't tried it and you do like primers and you want a primer that is quite nourishing and moisturizing. If you have like kind of dry skin, I would recommend this. It does have a somewhat of a lemony scent to it, which if you don't like that, I would stay clear of it, but it's not like really strong. It's just lovely. It doesn't smell like cleaning products, which I know a lemon scent could, but that's just my personal experience with it. Other people might disagree. So anyway, I'm going to be rolling this one in to finish. I don't know how long it's going to take. I also have quite dry skin over the winter, so I think this would be really helpful for me to just use up while I have it. Okay, and then the last one I'm going to be rolling in is an item that I just have never really enjoyed. And it might be because of the packaging, because I find it really hard to get the product out. And it is this little tiny mini Laura Mercier translucid powder. And honestly, so many people, this is like their holy grail in terms of loose powder. And I think there was a few times I've been using this where I have enjoyed it. And I think if I had a larger surface to grab the product from, I would actually feel the same way, but it's so difficult with these tiny little minis. It is impossible. So I think what I'm going to try to do is actually open it up and maybe decant it in something else. There's not a lot of product left in here, but I honestly am kind of annoyed. So yeah, I think I'm going to take this. Yeah, I'm going to take this stopper out, which is just like a plastic stopper. And I'm going to put this in something else, and then I'll be able to get it a lot faster and probably go through it really fast. But no point me keeping this in my collection. Again, another thing that I could potentially call an empty. I just need to get it out of this packaging, and then I'll be able to use it a little bit better. So this one's gonna be rolling in as well. That is my update for my project pan for this month. Hope you enjoyed. I'm very, very excited that I have the 2 empties, and I'm excited about the new items that I'm rolling in as well, because I feel like I'm rolling in items that I feel like I can finish, I wanna use, and that's always the best way to get through a project pan, I feel like. But anyway, thank you so much. Like and subscribe if you'd like to, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.